Folks, there's been some really nefarious stuff coming out about what the U.S. Agency for International Development has been up to, not just here in the United States, but around the world. DOGE, of course, has raided their offices and gathered a bunch of documents, and some of the things that we're learning about are absolutely shocking. Well, you're probably not surprised to know that USAID has been up to quite a lot in other countries. One of those countries is the nation of Georgia. Kind of straddles Europe and Asia, right close to Turkey and Armenia and Azerbaijan, not, of course, the American state of Georgia. And we have joining us today a very special guest. Her name is Mariam Lashkhi, and she is a member of the Georgian parliament. She's the deputy chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee there, and she's part of the governing conservative Georgian Dream Party. She's also a professor at the Business and Technology University of Georgia. Mariam, thank you very much for joining us today. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you. I want to start off talking about USAID. We're learning a lot about this through the news media about what they've been doing, but you guys have been kind of on the front lines of this. What has USAID been doing in the country of Georgia?
Thank you for having me, Alex. As a member of Georgian Parliament, as an Orthodox Christian, and as a mother of two sons, I'm privileged to be at your show and also the importance of the topics discussed. As of the USAID, I myself have been experiencing, first of all, I was part of one of the USAID project, which was doing a pretty positive and impactful works. On the other side, we have to see the main works, which is done by the USAID, and also the NGOs and civil society sector, which has been financed by the USAID. And the main target usually is the most reputable institutions, such as the Georgian Orthodox Church, usually, which is one of the most reputable institutions in Georgia. Georgian Orthodox Church stands as a cornerstone of national identity in Georgia, a nation where over 80% of citizens identify as members of this ancient Christian institution. Dating back to the 4th century, the church was and weathered numerous political storms while maintaining its central role in Georgian society. Through centuries, the external pressures such as Ottoman rule, Russian imperial control, and 7 decades of Soviet atheistic policies, the church preserved as a garden of Georgian cultural, language, and identity. After the independence in 1991, the church naturally resumed its influential position, becoming what polls consistently show as the most trusted institutions in Georgian society. Around 83% identify as Orthodox, and always this is with the polls that 75 to 90% it has like one of the most trusted institutions. So why I told this, because this always becomes as a main target of influencing and trying to reshape the Georgian society through attacking the church and the institution. Not only this, but also we have to say that this civil society, and can you imagine, in 3.7 million population Georgia, we have around 27,000 NGOs registered, which is the largest number per capita for it. So when looking at this, then you understand why these NGOs, and especially considering that 97% from these NGOs are financed by the foreign funding. So because of all this, then you understand why the targets is targeted the Georgian Christian Orthodox Church, and then this is done through the NGOs, especially systematic efforts by foreign foundations, including those which is connected to George Soros, to influence and position the national matters. The Georgian Orthodox Church has mainly, we have documented that around 1,700 out of Georgia's 2,000 Orthodox priests have been reached through the awareness and training programs funded by the Open Society foundations as well as the USAID. Rather than engaging in an open public debate, this initiative specifically target parish priest who can amplify specific messaging through trusted local voices. So what's particularly concerning is the harsh and also coordinated rhetoric coming from these foreign-funded groups. For instance, we have one of the so-called woman founder of the NGO who has to be the one who is preserving the rights of the women, but they are having the same rhetoric and calling, for instance, our patriarchate, who has the most trusted reputation in Georgia, that they are linked to either Russian or they are the occupier of our society and so on. And when you compare it to other nations' rhetorics and civil society representatives, for instance, in Ukraine, our friend nation, you will find the similarities between the rhetorics of those NGO founders, which are usually being linked to USAID or to the Open Society funding the project. So the rhetoric, the wording usually is the same.
Yeah. It's fascinating, Mariam. I wrote an article about this in 2016 when, for the New American Magazine, we saw some of this funding going through. It was coming from, like you said, the Open Society foundations, and they were targeting Orthodox pastors, priests, and trying to convince them about the sovereignty and about the LGBT agenda and other things. And, of course, they also got a lot of government funding lined up. Why are they doing this, Mariam? What is the interest in Georgia? What is the interest in the Orthodox Church? I mean, we know a lot of these people sending money are not Orthodox Christians. Why the interest in these Georgian institutions?
Why? The answer is very short, because on the one hand, why Georgian Orthodox Church? Because it is one of the most reputable institutions. And why Georgia? Because Georgia is at the crossroad connecting West to Europe. So it's not about only the Georgia as a 3.7 million population, but when you are having the right influence on our country, then you are controlling the whole Caucasus region, which is covering Armenia, Azerbaijan, but also we are in a neighborhood of Turkey. With the north, we always, and we're having the decades of having challenging relations with our north neighbor, which is Russia. We have been experiencing direct war, but also not only war, our 20% of our territories is being occupied. So Georgia is raising its positioning on the world because we are at the same time associated country and candidate country to European Union. And at the same time, we are peacemakers in our region. We are one of the peaceful negotiators between the relations of Armenia and Azerbaijan. Georgia is the place where the leaders are coming in Georgia and talking about the peace and ceasefire agreements. And on the other side, Georgia is having the strategic partnership with China and with the Central Asia as well. So around 1/3 of the world, Georgia is having a free trade agreement, which means that we have open market approach, and we have more or less, except of Russia, we have peaceful and good relations with our neighborhood. So because currently there is also a challenging period after especially Ukraine-Russia war, and after the occupation of Ukraine by Russia, the topics of peace and especially alternative ways of energy supply became one of the most important discussions in today's world. So Georgia is also running one of the major projects, which is undersea pipeline under the Black Sea, which will be bringing the alternative energy from east to west. So European Union will be supplied by the Central Asian energy. So Georgia is a facilitator in this process. So that's why on the trade, economic, but also politically influential position of Georgia, which was usually a front runner in democratic developments, Georgia is a very important country for big players to have in their hands, so to say. So therefore, this is the kind of a bit longer answer to why, but usually this is the on the one hand, the benefit of Georgia of being the gateway between Europe and Asia, East and West, and on the other side, the front runner in developing the key democratic principles in the country, but also because of the long history, at the same time being the modern, but also inheriting the culture and the values, family values, which is preserved by, especially with this current government, with the ruling party. So we are trying to find the balancing position in that respect.
That's fascinating. And of course, we have a new president now in the United States, a very different approach to international affairs and global institutions and even foreign assistance, foreign involvement in other countries. What has been the difference so far over the Trump administration, and what is your governing party, what is the parliament in Georgia hoping to achieve in terms of U.S.-Georgian relations in the years ahead?
Well, we're very optimistic because on the one hand, we see the key messages of Trump's administration is on the one hand transparency of these organizations, and the organizations such as USAID, it doesn't have to be the source of kind of challenging and damaging the relations between U.S. and other parts of the world, rather than opposite. So we were very straightforward. We introduced the similar law as a FARA, like Americans.
Foreign Agent Registration Act. Huh?
Absolutely. And this was the main principle was the transparency. So if everyone, it's like a world of playing the interest, right? Every country is having the interest. Every country is conducting their influence. We Georgian as well. For non-recognition policy, we do also have our strategies with other countries, but that doesn't mean that we are playing this in the opposite of the interests of the country, and it doesn't mean that we do not have to be hiding something. If you're hiding something and if you're not showing. So for instance, like George Soros from 2003 has funded our NGOs more than $20 million US. So this is what we know, and there is way beyond what we do not know. So transparency, which is the key approach of Donald Trump's administration, is very much coinciding with our vision and the goal to move forward. The second is the trade and economic relations. So we do have, and I was part, when I was in an executive leadership, I was part of the U.S.-Georgia Strategic Partnership Charter, which has not been developed and hasn't moved forward during the Biden's administration. So we are saying that we're very pragmatic. We see some of the strategic partnerships which we are enjoying, for instance, with other countries, which means on the one hand direct flights, which means the strategic relations, including the intergovernment relations and having the high-level dialogues, which is based on the mutual trust and which is based on the mutual interest. So we are very much optimistic with the new administration. We are very open, and we have highlighted on every level that we are open for these partnerships. And let's see. Hopefully it will be leading in a positive way.
Fantastic. And before we let you go, we've only got a few minutes left in the program today, but I do have to ask you about Ukraine. I know, as you mentioned, Ukraine is a friendly country with you guys, very close to where you are, and you've been playing a role, the Georgian government has, in these negotiations. What do you hope to see out of this, and are you optimistic now in terms of changes we're seeing in U.S. policy about maybe a better resolution to the conflict there?
That was one of the major issues as well when Donald Trump was coming. One of his main campaign, so to say, promise was that he will be doing everything in order to end the war. And this is something which is in our core interest, because if you look at the Georgia's-U.S. relations after Ukraine-Russia war, a lot has damaged between our and U.S. relations. So therefore, this promise was a promise for Georgian population as well, not only for taxpayers of Americas, but also to the whole world, because the war not only damages the economic situation in every part of the world, but also this is the politically, I would say, the mistake which has been done, and we are still saying that this war could be avoided, because Georgia has been experiencing the challenging relations with Russia. We have experienced war in 2008, but there was a very direct try that we had to jump into this process, and there was even a discussion on high-level discussions and meetings that we had to support Ukraine by opening the second front in our country. There was even, like, from high-level officials from Ukraine, they were saying that we have to just walk inside the Abkhazia, which is occupied region by Russia, that we have to walk in and kind of tease additional conflict. So that was not something which is, on the one hand, the interest of Georgian nation, and is not in the interest of the world itself, and is against of our peaceful solution of every conflict. So we are experiencing the same, and we know what Ukrainian people are going through. We are very optimistic and hope that Trump will try his best to end the war, and hopefully by the end of this year we'll be having a different situation. But then we have to think about the next level. What if, hopefully, and we see that small countries like Georgia cannot defeat the imperialistic Russia, but there is additional way and instrument to solve this war. So whatever will be end of the story, there we have to think what we are doing next, and what will be the future of nations like us, neighbors, and what will be the future of the Europe itself. So therefore, we're very optimistic. We hope for the best. We again are saying that this war could be avoided, because we know the relations, what and how is it, and we have been pushed by foreign influences, and as we say, the global war party or the deep state. What is the interests of others in this position, but we hope that Trump will end deep state, and Trump will end the war with the peaceful solution.
Excellent. Mariam, we're almost out of time. Anything else you want to add for American viewers, American listeners, about the situation there, the U.S. involvement, anything else?
No, well, we're very good friends of Americans, and we are, as a kind of a mother of two sons. Again, I have to say that as Americans and as Georgians, we do experience the same situation, and I want, and I and also American people want our children to inherit our nation that engages confidently with the world, with preserving all those values which is making each and every nation unique.
Amen. Absolutely. Mariam Lashkhi, Deputy Chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee in Parliament, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for what you're doing, and I hope we can talk to you again soon.
Good luck.
Thank you so much. All right, folks, that's all we have time for today here on Conversations That Matter. I'm Alex Newman, Senior Editor at The New American. Share this out with your friends, with your congressmen. This is important, folks. I know a lot of Americans don't know where Georgia even is on a map, but it is increasingly a globalized world. Our government has been meddling there for quite some time, and so have a lot of our very wealthy individuals. And so this is an issue that concerns us all. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Alex Newman. Until next time, God bless you all.